back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla. I live in Louisiana, and I am so grateful that you stopped by for a visit today. So why don't you grab yourself a drink, maybe a snack, and a project to work on, and let's visit. Thank you for joining me at my desk today, friends. I am working on my birthday blanket. I will admit it is growing slowly for me at the moment because I didn't crochet on it this weekend. I just didn't crochet on it. But anyway, this is my rectangle happy birthday blanket granny style stitch. So if you want to know more about the details of this, you can go back and watch the video from April the 1st and April the 3rd, and it will explain what I did and how I did it and all that kind of stuff and show you details. So I'm working on my blanket, and now I am putting in these little balls of yarn, going with the same sequence if I pay attention, because I did jump when I started the balls. I did jump from the purple to the green and had to pull the green out and go back to the blue. I just wasn't paying attention. I was yakking with you guys and was not paying attention to what I was doing at all. So, and I'm using a 6mm hook on this, and yes, this is a new finger hook, and I'll be giving the details of that when I do my Happy Mail video. So that's coming up. It's got to come up this week. I've just been this weekend I tried to just take it easy and rest, and just, I haven't been feeling really great. My face is super swollen. I have a lot of fluid, and so my fluid pills obviously aren't working, or I'm working against them with all the chicken broth with the sodium in it. You know, Big Daddy had got me lots of cans of chicken broth and cream of chicken. So that's what I eat, and I'm sick of it, but it has, you know, sodium in it, and so, yeah, it's fighting against me, so, or fighting against my fluid pill, I guess. I don't know, but just all of a sudden my face is swollen, like my cheeks are super swollen, one side more than the other, and so I just haven't been feeling well, so I just, you know, took some time. I did put out a video Saturday, so the only day I skipped was Sunday. I took Sunday off and enjoyed my day, and I hope you enjoyed your day and had a great weekend. I spent Sunday in my doll room. I went in there and cleaned up. That room gets so messy so quick. So I cleaned up in there and did some photos for of my Blythe dolls, and then I just kind of cleaned up and just kind of made some plans for future photos in there. Just did something enjoyable, something, you know, that I would enjoy. And probably that other people don't really understand, but that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta do stuff for yourself to bring yourself peace. And I am drinking just some regular sweet tea this morning. Good old Louisiana sweet tea. But the water situation is, the water has went down on Miller Road and up on Bud Smith. So Big Daddy, he went to work yesterday, which was Sunday. He had to go out to his work to do a few things, and he said the water was better. He went down and looked at it on Miller, and he said the water was down to 1 lane on Miller, but it was up on Bud Smith, and it was in the curve in several places on Bud Smith. Even past our house is flooded. And right past our driveway, he saw a big old, about 6-foot alligator. And so he got his phone out and thought he was recording. And when he went when the alligator went on and he went to turn it off, it was not even recording. I do that all the time myself. That's so aggravating. But he said it was a big old alligator. And it went down along the side of our property, and at the very end of our property is the mouth of the bayou right there. And it just went off in the bayou that loops around our house. So yeah, we're being careful. I'm being very careful with Phoebe. She goes out and potties and comes right back in. I don't just leave her outside. So she's good. I'm taking care of her. But yeah, I wish she had got that on video, or at least took a picture. I said, "Did you take a picture?" And he said, "Well, I thought I was videoing it, but it turns out I wasn't." So, yikes. I have some questions here that I wrote down, and I didn't write them in any kind of order other than the order that I saw them being asked. So they're not grouped together, so they're back and forth from water to crocheting to water to crocheting, okay? So just bear with me. Someone asked, when you have a crochet project, how do you tell the front side to the back side? Well, I don't really know how to tell you how to tell that, other than what I would do is crochet a swatch and study the front side and then study the back side. You can tell a difference, but you're just going to have to tell it with your eye. And my eyes are not that great, but I can definitely see a difference in the front of these stitches versus the back of the stitches. So I would say crochet a swatch, and you might want to do a swatch of, you could just crochet a tiny little swatch, you know, a little 4 or 5 rows up, a little rectangle back and forth. You could do a swatch of single crochets and put a little label on it, or on your front side of it, you might want to put a stitch marker, just like this on the front of it, and close that so you'll know that is my front side. And then do a little swatch of half double crochets and a little swatch of double crochets, and you know, mark each one which is your front side, and then just study it and look at it and turn it over, look at the other side until you can, you know, clearly see that there's a difference between the front side and the back side. That's the only way I know to tell you to be able to. Now, somebody might have some suggestions, but I really think it's something you have to be able to see on your own. I don't think I can tell you a definite way, but let's see what other people have to say in the comments. But yeah, when I first started crocheting, I couldn't tell that either. That's what I did, was I would put a safety pin, not a safety pin, but a stitch marker on my front side. Like if I was doing a project where I was going to have to put pieces together, or put the back sides together to sew it together, to stuff it, to make something or whatever, I had to label my front sides so I wouldn't mess it up. And now I can tell, but at first I couldn't tell. It's just something you gotta be able to distinguish with your eyes. I don't know, but I hope that will help. Let's see, water, I just mentioned that one. Oh, hot glue sticks. Somebody asked about what kind of hot glue I use. I buy the hot glue sticks at Dollar Tree. They have the little mini hot glue sticks, and I use them in my hot glue gun, and they work great for me. The key to using hot glue is to use just a dab, just a tiny bit. You can always add more, but once you add too much, you can't take it away. So a little at a time, but you do have to kind of work quickly so the hot glue doesn't start cooling And like, you can't put your hot glue and then think about it. You better think about it and know where you're sticking something before you put your hot glue on. But the trick is a little bit at a time. Somebody was asking, how's Big Daddy getting back to work, back and forth to work, very carefully. He's just, very carefully driving out, staying in the middle of the road. And people, they see a car coming, they stop and wait until that car comes, and then so they can get in the middle of the road and go. So yeah, just in the middle of the road is the best way to do it. And then somebody said, don't be driving through water. Well, you have to. You don't have a choice. If you're going to go home, you have to drive through water. If you're going to go to work, you have to drive through water. And especially, we know the roads here, we know where the sides of the roads are. Sometimes when the water gets too deep, they do come and put little stakes along the side of the road, so you know the edge and where the ditch is. So that happens a lot, but anyway, someone asked, did we sandbag? No. Our house is up off the ground, and we would have to make a wall of over 3 foot tall of sandbags, and that would just take forever. I mean, it wouldn't do us any good. It wouldn't. Plus, me and Big Daddy we ain't about to be able to do that, which we never have been able to do that. But yeah, it would take a wall, about a 3 foot wall, all the way around, and it would be a lot of work, a lot of sand, and a lot of bags. And I don't know who would do it. And then somebody asked, after the flood in 2016, did we raise our house any? No, we did not. We did not have the funding to do that, or a way to do it, or anything like that. So we didn't. We wanted to. We talked about it. We wished we could have, but there just wasn't a way to do it. So, and then somebody asked about flood insurance. No, we do not have flood insurance. We cannot get flood insurance where we live. That's not going to happen. At all. But, and I'm not worried. I haven't been, this whole time I have not been worried about water getting up in our house during this go around. It's just flooding the roads and the yards, but I'm not worried about it. Hey, Phoebe, shh. I'm not worried about it getting up in the house. It's not that bad. It's not. It's just bad enough to be an inconvenience and a nuisance and make you worry just a little bit. But we did have over 9 inches of water when it was all said and done. I seen the report that said we had, I think 9.20 is what I saw. So that's a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. I mean, that was our rainfall that they said, and then that rain, that water, it has to pass through this area to get to Bayou Lafourche, or Lafourche Bayou. Some people say Bayou first, some people say Lafourche first. But yeah, that water has to pass through here going, and the water is still flowing, so that's good. When I get worried is when it stops flowing. If you don't see the water moving at all, and it's just standing still, that's when I really start to panic, because it don't have anywhere to go except up if it's not flowing. Let's see. Yeah, several people asked if we have a boat. We do. We have a boat. I'm not getting in it, but we have a boat. I think everybody down here's got a boat. And somebody asked, when our house flooded in 2016, did the gators come up in our yard? Well, I wasn't here because we did get flooded out. I mean, we had to leave. Big Daddy and the boys were boating in and out to get some of our belongings because the water stayed up for a month. Our house sat with water in it for a month. And so they boated in and out a few times, mainly Big Daddy and Elijah, because Dakota was working. He had to go to work. So, and his and Big Daddy's shift wasn't the same. So, when Big Daddy was off and was able to boat out here, he had Elijah, because Elijah was a kid. I don't know, he was about maybe 14 or so. I don't know, but they would boat out here and get stuff and check on things, and then, you know, boat back to the highway, because you could boat all the way from the highway. And Big Daddy did say that, you know, he could see gators swimming around, snakes, all that kind of stuff. But they could boat all the way up to our doorsteps from the highway. That's how bad it was in 2016. Hopefully that will never happen again, but it doesn't help my anxiety when water starts rising. Somebody asked me about, they saw the video where Big Daddy cleaned my, let me get a drink of tea, I'm sorry. My throat's a little bit irritated. Somebody had said they saw the video about Big Daddy cleaning my Addy machine or knitting machines in general. And so they was asking about silicone spray. And I have no idea. We've never used silicone spray, so I can't say if it works or not. We used a silicone gel out of a tube, so I have no idea about that. And I sure would not say yes to something I don't know could affect, you know, tear up your machine. So you do that at your own risk. I have no idea. Someone asked, when we first got married, did we live somewhere other than our current home? Yes, we lived uptown in some apartments for about 6 months. We hated it. We hated it. Oh gosh, we hated it. Now, I came from a neighborhood, so I was a little more used to people. But I wasn't used to people being stacked like that. And Big Daddy came from out here, so he wasn't used to people at all. And yeah, he hated it. He couldn't just go outside and, you know, shoot his gun or whatever. Whatever it is that men do when they have lots of land. And I didn't like it because it was just like, I don't know, it's kind of like everybody was all up, you know, watching everything everybody did. I don't know. I wasn't used to being that close to people. I didn't mean to do I meant to do a slip stitch, not a single crochet. So after about 6 months, we were trying to find a way to get out of town. And we ended up back out here. We took Big Daddy's grandfather's house, gutted it. It was a small, small house. It was a bedroom, a kitchen, an added-on bathroom, and a living room, dining room. So it was one big room, 2 small rooms, and a bathroom. So it was 3 rooms with the bathroom added on to the side of the house. pretty much. And so we took that and gutted it and put up new walls, new flooring, painted, and created a home. Created a home. And this was all before Dakota was born. And it was 600 square feet. That's how much room it was, 600 square feet. And we've added on over the years. We added on to our home and built more rooms. So now it's 1,200 square feet because we've eventually doubled it. But yeah, even after Elijah was born, we still had 600 square feet. So the 4 of us lived in 600 square feet. And Big Daddy worked graveyard a lot, so he had to sleep during the daytime. So I had a baby, and Dakota was 8. He turned 8 after Elijah was born. In 600 square feet, and I had to keep them quiet so he could sleep during the day. Yeah, we left the house a lot. Went to the park. Went and just walked around town, the mall, or whatever during the day so that he could sleep. But then, okay, if we were home, he would say, "Y'all be quiet." And then if we were gone, and we'd come home, and I'd get him up to eat dinner before he went to work and all, and I'd say, "How'd you sleep?" He's like, "I didn't sleep at all. The house was too quiet." So, you could never make him happy. Either we were too loud, or the house was too quiet. And that's the same thing he says about me now. If I don't go to bed, when he goes to bed, he can't go to sleep because I'm not in there. But when I'm in there, he's like, "Be still, turn that down, turn that strobe light off." Because I watch my iPad, well, my Kindle, whatever, tablet, whatever you call the darn thing. I watch that while I'm going to sleep at night, because if I don't, my mind is just racing everywhere. I have to give my mind a stopping place to focus. And so I'll just put on something that I don't really, either stuff that I've watched plenty of times before, or something that, you don't have to, like, pay really close attention to, like sitcoms or something. I'll put on, like, Seinfeld or whatever, some kind of little show, and then I'll can try to focus on that while I'm falling asleep. Anyway, so where was I going with that? I think I was just saying, yeah, we lived in a tiny, tiny house, and that wasn't even the tiny house phase that everyone went through. When people went through the tiny house phase, I was like, been there, done that, not ready to do that again. 4 people in 600 square feet was a lot. It was. And let's see. And I'm so glad we did make that choice and moved out here, because we was able to raise our boys here in the woods. Elijah was more of a woods type person than Dakota. Dakota's never been outdoorsy, but Elijah, he would get up and go hunting in the mornings before school. He would, set his clock and get up and go hunting. And I'll tell you what, for a mama laying in the bed, and your kid's out there hunting somewhere close by, but you don't really know where or what, and then hear a gunshot, and then know that your kid just shot that gun, and you do a lot of praying. You do a lot of praying. But yeah, he would go hunting in the mornings before school, and I'd tell him to be back at a certain time, at like 9 or something, and if he wasn't back, then I would text him after he was, old up a little older and had a phone. I would text him and tell him to come on, let's get school going. He'd sometimes text back, I'm tracking a deer. And I would text back, no, you're just stalling. Come on. But he was always, he lived in the woods. He always was out, playing. And one time when he was quite young, quite little, he would just go up in the woods and shoot his gun and stuff, because we're in the South and we're raised with guns. I know sometimes people in the North don't understand that, but we are hunters in the South. And especially when you live where we live, hunting is a thing. If you're not a hunter, then who are you? And so, that's just the way Elijah was raised. Dakota, no, because he's vegetarian. He ain't about that. He's not about that, so. But one time when Elijah was quite young, and I was out in the art studio, and Elijah came and said, I'm supposed to go up in the woods and shoot my gun for a little bit. And I said, all right, bring us back some dinner. Just picking with him. He came, I heard a couple gunshots. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's just practicing or if he got something. Well, a little bit later, he came dragging up the biggest raccoon I ever saw in my life. Huge raccoon. And said he got dinner. Now, I never ate raccoon and never will, okay? But we do have to thin them out around here because we'll get overpopulated with them. And so that's one of the things that the wildlife men do also, is you have to thin them out or you just get overrun by them. And we have persimmon trees here at the front of our property. I don't know if you know what persimmons are. You can Google that. But a persimmon tree, and the raccoons love those trees. They wrap those trees up. I can sit here at my desk looking on the security screen and just watch the raccoons out there in that tree. It'll look like the whole tree is moving, but it's just the raccoons in it eating persimmons. And when we had ducks, the ducks would go eat those persimmons, and then you know what ducks do, and they would walk around and poo. And then we had persimmon trees just coming up everywhere because of the ducks taking the seeds and pooing, eating the seeds and all that. And then they would go and poo all over the place because they just ran wild out here. But yeah. No, then 2016 when we flooded, we had, I don't even know how many, probably close to 100 birds. We had chickens, ducks, geese, guineas. Yes, turkeys. Did I say turkeys? I don't know. We had all kinds of birds out here. They were Elijah's. Elijah had built a chicken house, and they all slept in it at night, but in the daytime he'd get up in the mornings and let them out, and they would just roam everywhere, roam around. And at night when it got dusk, they would go back to their house, and then he would just have to go close the door at night. But yeah, he built a chicken house pretty much all by himself. And when he was a little kid, he's always been the outdoorsy, doing things outside type of kid. Dakota has always been the inside type of kid. Elijah, I want to give you an update about Elijah because I know I had told y'all about his job and I was praying for him and asked you guys if you prayed to pray for him. He did end up quitting that job. he worked 3 weeks, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week for 3 weeks until they hired some other people, you know, for different shifts. And then those people worked for 2 days and then quit. And so Elijah was going to have to work 3 more weeks, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week until they hired more people. Now, the hours is not the reason why he quit. Really, it's because it's a dangerous job. Like, people were getting shot at. Why everyone quit except for him and one other guy was that somebody pulled up and rolled down their window and shot off 2 clips, or emptied a whole clip or something like that, at a guy at the night guard. And it's in a very bad area in Little Rock. And so I did not feel safe. I wanted him to just quit and come home. But he waited until he had some interviews set up. And Elijah's one that he usually can get a job pretty quickly. So he waited until he got some interviews set up. And after he had a couple interviews set up, he went ahead and told them, you know, like, hey, I got some interviews set up. If I get hired, I'm leaving. And they were like, okay, we understand. So we'll see what happens with that, with his new job and all that, and see how it goes. Ooh, about almost finished with this green slime. This color is called Slime, and I really do like this. Someone asked me, several people asked me this: what project did I work on when I went to Crochet Club? I took this blanket and worked on it. Some people there were crocheting. Some people there were just talking, and the group is called Books and Hooks. So they do talk about books. When I went before, that one time that I was able to go, we didn't talk about books. We just talked about crocheting. It was a lot of new people there that day, and they talked about crocheting, okay? And crochet projects. This particular time, they did talk about some books, and I was a little bit shocked at the books they were talking about. I don't know. One girl, I will say this, one girl said, I only read smutty books. And I was just like, okay. So they, I guess, talked about smutty books, as books I had never heard of, but I live under a rock. I don't know what's out there. I really don't. I'm happy under my rock, okay? Yes, I'm very much happy under my rock, because I didn't know all this stuff was out there, and they were talking about some pretty X-rated type stuff, I would say. So I was just like, okay, interesting. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it is next time. I did enjoy it. I just enjoyed being around other people crocheting. And, you know, I tried to talk about, I did a lot of listening, but I did try to talk about some yarn. This one girl had some really pretty yarn, and just talked to her about that a little bit. Caterpillars. Oh my gosh. Well, I am over the caterpillars. I sent a text to Zeke's mom and said, I'm over the caterpillars. They are everywhere out here. Oh my gosh. And they're just dropping from the trees on you. You come in from outside, you definitely have a caterpillar on you somewhere. And it's just the time of the year. I don't know if the water's got more to do with it. I don't know. But it is bad. It is bad, the caterpillars. Now, this morning when I took Phoebe out, they might have not been quite as bad, but gosh, yeah, them caterpillars have been so bad. So while we were at Crochet Club, the girl, I was sitting here, there's a girl over here and a girl over here. The girl over here had laid her crochet hook down on the table and was looking at something on her phone. And the girl over here said, "Oh, you have a visitor on your hook." And she looked down, there was a big old caterpillar crawling on her crochet hook. And I thought, oh, I probably brought that. And so she put it in her bag to let it go when she got outside. But yeah, I don't know if I brought it or if she brought it, but it was a big old caterpillar, and it could have fell into my bag while I was going out to the car. It could have been on me. Who knows? And she's from a country area out here, but on the other side of the world from me. So it could have came with her. I don't know if it came out of her bag, my bag, or what. But it was a big old fat caterpillar. And I told her, I said, "I wonder who brought it, you or me?" And she was probably thinking, well, it must have been you, it wasn't me. I don't know. But anyway, after Crochet Club, she did take it outside and put it in the bushes. So I'm just going to continue. Oh, this is the last question I think I have. Kelly asked me, had I done a 10-stitch blanket? I have on the Loom. I've done several 10 stitches before. And if you don't Loom knit, you might not understand what we're saying here, but I do have one that I never did finish because I was making it for Elijah, and the type of yarn that I was using was a blanket yarn. It was just like velvety. No, it wasn't velvet. It was like micro fiber type feeling of yarn, and I thought that is going to be a dog hair magnet. So I never finished it because and this was when he lived at home. I just could not imagine having that blanket covered in dog hair is all I could think of. Every time I'd work on it, I was just thinking, when I finish this, it's just going to be covered in dog hair. So I never did finish it. That's something I could go back and do. I could pull that out and work on that at some point. Not anytime soon. I've got too much other stuff that I need to be doing and working on. And this weekend I did feel a little guilty that I didn't crochet on anything, but I also just felt like I needed to just give myself a break, give my brain a break, my whole body a break. So I just didn't crochet. I just sat in my doll room, cleaned up, tidied up in there, and just sat around and looked at my dolls and just enjoyed my time. Anyway, what do you guys have going on this week? I have 2 doctor's appointments this week, and my home health nurse is supposed to be coming today for a recertification or something like that. And then what? Yeah, I got 2 doctors. I think I have a doctor's appointment. Maybe Wednesday. And I better check and make sure that wasn't today. Maybe Wednesday and then Friday. So, yeah, I gotta check my email right here and see if that was today, because I started to panic as I thought about it. So I'm not sure exactly what day of the week the one in town is. The one Friday is out of town in Shreveport. So that'll be an all-day thing. So what do you guys have going on today? What projects do you have planned for the week? and just, fill me in. Tell me what's going on in your life. What did you do over the weekend? What do you plan to do this week? I love reading that. I just love reading your comments and, seeing what everybody's up to. And if you have a question you want me to answer this week in a video, leave it in the comments below. But yeah, I'll let you guys get going. I enjoyed visiting with you. And I will see you all in the next video, friends. Bye, guys. Remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet.